Welcome, Hattiesburg, and a pleasant day to all our listeners. This is Abby, your host for Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. I'm here to bring you updates, news, and more from our community. To add to all the excitement today, we have Mississippi Moments with Richard Berger and a news wrap with Morgan Gill to ensure you're up to date on all the hottest topics. And guess what? We have a very special guest for you today, Shawn Harris. You definitely want to stay tuned for what he has to share with us today. But before we jump into all the fun, here's a quick message from our sponsors. So hang tight, we'll be right back with more Southern Miss Today.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277, and the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
Welcome back. In campus news, Southern Miss President Dr. Joe Paul received Service Member Patriot Award for support of military personnel. Dr. Joe Paul, president of the University of Southern Mississippi, has received the Service Member Patriot Award presented by the Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve to patriotic employers during a ceremony on March 14th at the Center for Military Veterans, Service Members, and Families on the Southern Mississippi Hattiesburg campus. Given to supervisors who provide direct support to service members, the Patriot Award reflects the efforts made to support citizen warriors. Second Lieutenant Sawyer Walters, platoon leader with Delta Company of the 150th Brigade Engineer Battalion and Development Officer for the USM Foundation, nominated Paul for the award. On January 24th, 2024, the University and the National Guard Bureau signed an agreement to establish the Center for the Study of National Guard on the Southern Miss campus. The center will serve as a central repository for archival materials and oral histories and function as an international level resource for the study of the Guard's past, present, and future. An additional agreement was signed on February 2025 during a ceremony at the Mississippi Armed Forces Museum at Camp Shelby, solidifying the relationship between the university and the Center of the Mississippi National Guard. Also in campus news, Southern Miss School of Performing and Visual Arts Dance Gala set for March 27th through 28th. The University of Southern Mississippi School of Performing and Visual Arts dance program will showcase original works by faculty and distinguished guest artists, all brought to life by its talented dance students. The annual Dance Gala concert will be held March 27th through March 28th at the Mononi Performing Arts Center on the Hattiesburg campus. Tickets will be available for purchase at the door or in advance online at the Dance Gala concert tickets on Eventbrite. The production features choreography by guest artists who had the opportunity to empower and inspire Southern Miss students during their campus visits. An artist in residence at the Environmental Institute of University College of London, an artistic director, taught the students, as well as Southern Miss alum Lawrence Jackson, professor of dance at the George Mason University School of Dance. Submarinian merges contemporary choreography with the classical Indian dance form. During her visit, she worked with the students to recreate her piece Plastic, Drastic, Fantastic, which explores the complexities of human relationships through the metaphor of plastic, from the molecular to global level. The work will also be presented in April at the Mississippi School for the Deaf. In Hattiesburg news, the city of Hattiesburg is starting a long-awaited infrastructure project on West 7th Street. West 7th Street's rough and bumpy reputation is something Hattiesburg city leaders said has been a hot topic for a while. This stretch of roadway, we have had a lot of complaints over the years, Hattiesburg Mayor Toby Barker said. Barker said a road that's in bad shape could be a reflection of what's going on underneath the surface. In this case, we had a sewer line that needed to be replaced, Barker said. We have drainage infrastructure that isn't working correctly, and so it would hold water after a hard rain for several days. To fix these issues, the city has kicked off the West 7th Street Infrastructure Rehabilitation Project. Work includes replacing aging storm and sanitary sewer lines, upgrading undersized drinking water mains to improve water pressure, and improving sidewalks. The project is funded through the Mississippi and County Water Infrastructure Grant Program and American Rescue Plan Act funds totaling $3.7 million. Barker said drivers can expect to see road closures throughout the construction process and asked residents for their patience. In Mississippi news, the death toll from a sprawling outbreak of severe weather rose throughout this day Saturday as severe storms and reported tornadoes plagued the South. Saturday, forecasters warned millions of people across southern states to stay on alert for tornadoes, high winds, and thunderstorms. Severe weather has been blamed for the death of over a dozen people, a number that could grow with the inclusion of wildfires and traffic deaths. More than 8.3 million people, mostly in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee, were under tornado watches Saturday night. A wind advisory blanketed the nation from Michigan to Florida, covering more than 100 million people. The dangerous weather comes as a monstrous March storm moves from coast to coast. The storm system spun up a tornado in Southern California, dumped snow in Sierra Nevada, caused dangerous road conditions in Texas, and spawned reported tornadoes in the South and Midwest overnight. That's your news update from Southern Miss Today. Next, we'll have the latest in sports and weather, so stay tuned. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
You may not realize how important 3 letters can be. For a patient who needs type A, B, or O blood, these letters can mean life, but there simply aren't enough people giving blood. Without more donors, hospitals may not have the blood needed to save lives. That's why the American Red Cross needs people to help restore the A's, B's, and O's that are depleting each day. You are the missing type patients need. Visit redcrossblood.org/missing types or call 1-800-RED-CROSS to make your donation appointment today.
Welcome back with our action-packed sports segment. Let's dive into the latest scores, highlights, and sports. Get your jerseys on because it's game time. Today, Monday, March 17th, the women's golf team will be at the Bama Beach Bash, and the men's golf team will be at the All-American Collegiate through Tuesday, March 18th. On Tuesday, March 18th, the baseball team will be playing against Ole Miss. On Wednesday, March 19th, the softball team will be playing against Nichols. On Thursday, March 20th, track and cross country will be at the Bulldog Alumni Relays through Saturday, March 22nd. On Friday, March 21st, the baseball team will be playing against ULM, and the softball team will be playing against Troy. On Saturday, March 22nd, the women's tennis team will be playing against James Madison. The men's tennis team will be playing against Georgia State. The baseball team will be playing against ULM, and the softball team will be playing against Troy. On Sunday, March 23rd, the women's tennis team will be playing against Old Dominion University, and the softball team will be playing against Troy, and the baseball team will be playing once again against ULM. Head to southernmiss.com to keep up with all the Golden Eagles sports activities. As for weather today, look for a low of 42 with a low chance of rain and a high of 68. The feels like for today is 38 to 71 degrees. Tomorrow, look for a low of 45 and a high of 76 with a low chance of rain. Tomorrow's feels like is 43 to 74 degrees. Up next, we have Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage, with Richard Berger recalling working at NASA as a computer programmer. Check it out.
This is Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi, and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. Hattiesburg native Richard Berger graduated with a degree in mathematics in 1965. He recalls returning to Mississippi to work at NASA's test facility as a computer programmer.
I was born and raised here in Hattiesburg, and I did all my schooling, elementary through high school was here in Hattiesburg in the Hattiesburg public school system. And when I went to college, I went to Tougaloo a couple of years, and I finished at Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri, and I majored in mathematics. And from there, I went to work for General Electric in the space program. So I worked at it's Stennis Space Center now, but it's at that time it was called Mississippi Test Facility. I worked in the program where we test the first 2 stages of the Apollo mission that carried the man to the moon. And this was just the first 2 stages that they tested there. And so I was a mathematician and computer programmer. This was back in '65. It was very educational and enjoyable. I enjoyed it.
Bill Ellison hosts Voices of Our People World War II, a new podcast from Mississippi Moments, sponsored by the Mississippi Humanities Council. That's Voices of Our People World War II, wherever you get your podcasts.
That was your Mississippi Moment for today. Coming up, we have the pleasure of hearing from Shawn Harris after a quick break.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Now please give a warm Golden Eagle welcome to Shawn. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, Abby. Thanks.
Of course. Could you introduce yourself and what you're here to talk about, please?
Yeah, hey, I'm Shawn Harris. I'm actually a banker by day. I'm a commercial banker at Hancock Whitney. I've been doing that for about 19 years in banking. But a side hobby of mine is conservation, and I'm here today as board president of the Piney Woods Conservation Group, who built the Pinebelt Blueways with a bunch of partners.
What is Pinebelt Blueways?
Yeah, so Pinebelt Blueways has been around for about 6 years. So Blueways are water trails. So you might think of a hiking trail or maybe the longleaf trace as a greenway. So Blueways are water trails. So they're defined pathways that you can travel on the water, either in a canoe or a kayak. And so we promote Pinebelt Blueways, which is the Leaf and the Bowie River that flow right through the middle of Hattiesburg.
Okay. Where you did mention that those are in the middle of Hattiesburg. Where do you know exactly where those blueways are that are here?
Yeah. So the Pinebelt Blueways, and kind of what we've done with the blueways is take public access points, boat ramps all along these two rivers. We don't have an outfitter here in Hattiesburg, so we don't have somebody who's promoting those rivers to take people out on the water like we might at Black Creek further south or on the Okatoma further north. And so people are driving over the Bowie and the Leaf River all the time on I-59 and on Highway 49, and they probably look around the bend and go, man, I wonder where that goes, or how do I get onto it? So we have marked and signed and promoted and built a website for the Pinebelt Blueways, which is 52 miles of the Leaf and the Bowie River. So that starts to the north in Jones County at East of Butchie, Church Street in Jones County, all the way down to New Augusta, Perry County, Mississippi. So around Hattiesburg, just within 5-minute drive of here, you've got Glendale Avenue is the Bowie. Right outside of Chain Park is the Leaf River. So the Leaf River splits the city of Petal and the city of Hattiesburg, right between Petal River Park and Chain Park. So just a few minutes drive from here, you've got this great river. And so we're trying to promote outdoor recreation and stewardship of those bodies of water.
Okay. How do people use these blueways?
Yeah, so we promote the rivers for canoeing and kayaking. So there's also some areas along the river that you can gain access as a swim hole. The boat ramp in Jones County, east of Butchie, is kind of a sand boat ramp. So on a hot summer day, you see a lot of people out there with tents, and they're just swimming and hanging out in the water. But we promote it for canoeing and kayaking. So they're great rivers, even when in the dead of the summer, when it's really hot and the water levels are really low, and you may not be able to take a motorboat on either of these rivers, you can always canoe or kayak them. My wife likes to paddleboard them. We have a lot of people that paddleboard them. But really, it's just kind of about being out on the water, whether you're in a tube, a canoe, a kayak, or swimming. It's an opportunity to kind of explore nature and see what is out there right outside of town, but you kind of feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere.
What is the importance to you personally of people using these blueways?
Yeah, so I think, I'm looking at my phone right now trying to see how terrible I look on this video camera. We're so connected to technology today, and our lives are so busy. We've kind of gotten disconnected from nature. We're not outdoors as much as we used to be. So we're trying to encourage outdoor recreation. Pinebelt Blueways was really started with our group, and we're a 501c3 nonprofit. We're board driven. We don't have any paid staff. I'm the president of the board, which means I kind of run it with a group of people who are really passionate about these waters. But we worked with Visit Hattiesburg, the Hattiesburg Tourism Commission. We've got a lot of great outdoor assets here in Hattiesburg to kind of get people outside, like the Longleaf Trace and Toughberg mountain bike trails and Lake Thoreau and Black Creek Trail just to the south. And we have 7 or 8 rivers just within an hour drive of us. But we're not doing a really good job of telling people about those things. So our goal is to promote it, get more people outside and exploring nature, and then they will have, hopefully, an experience that makes them go, man, like, I want to be out here more. I want to protect it. When I see trash on the river or trash on the street, I want to pick that up because I don't want to get into our waterway. I want to protect the wildlife that are out there. So that's kind of our main goal, is twofold. We think if we can get more people outside, that improves health, quality of life. It gives more people more things to do in our area. But then they'll kind of fall in love with nature and they'll want to protect it. So you'll think about your footprint, you'll think about recycling and sustainability and making better choices and making sure your trash goes where it's supposed to, so it doesn't end up in the street and into our rivers.
And you mentioned not doing the best job of getting the word out there about it. Have y'all worked with either us, like the school, or William Carey for any outdoor type things?
Yeah, so we see we have students from both universities get real involved. So we kind of develop the Blueways, and we try to, it's kind of a bring your own kayak model, and we're working on some things strategically that can help people who don't have boats. We launched an outfitter last year, so we own a fleet of kayaks, and we take a lot of travel writers who come to town to write about Hattiesburg, guests who stay at some of our campgrounds and resorts, some of our hotels in town. Anybody reach out to our website. If they want to go paddling and they don't have a boat, they don't know where to go, they can reach out to us and we'll do our best to try to accommodate it. We all have full-time jobs. We're all volunteers. So we're actually placed an order today to double that fleet so we can get more people on the water and take larger groups. But the other thing we do is we pick up a lot of trash. I'm obsessed with cleaning up litter. I see it everywhere I go, and I think the biggest experience for me was the first time I paddled the buoy, or really the Leaf River, the Blueways. The first time I paddled it and saw trash on a sandbar, I was just like, man, I don't want this here for the next person.
Yeah.
So we cleaned it up, and we've been doing that ever since we got founded. Last year, in 3 events, we picked up over 3,000 pounds of trash, 1,000 pounds each. We did a cleanup with the North Main Historic Neighborhood Association earlier this year and picked up 800 pounds of trash. So we do a lot of that, in which we have a lot of USM students, a lot of William Carey students come. Mike Davis, who's in the biology department, I think he's the head today. I may have given him a promotion. I'm pretty sure he's the head of biological sciences. But Mike runs Lake Thoreau. And so I've known Mike for several years through a bunch of community avenues, but he's on our board. So we've got some strong USM connections. Mac Alford is a botanist, and he's the Department of Botany here at USM. So they're kind of partnered with us. So we'd love to get more students out, and we've got some great opportunities that are coming up kind of spring and summer that are really like long-term volunteer opportunities that are maybe a little sexier than picking up trash. I'll never get tired of picking up trash, but we got some cool stuff coming up to get more students involved.
I was curious because I remember, I think it was last year, me and my roommate were looking at doing a kayaking, canoeing something, and I was curious if they did it through y'all.
Yeah, so Brooke Cruthers, who works with the foundation, she actually just sent me contact information for like the outdoor programs people, and we've done some stuff with them in the past, probably years ago. And then we've kind of connected with the sustainability folks. We would love to do more things on USM's campus. I think they're going to the Okatoma, and that all depends on the number of students. We're kind of limited by the size of our fleet, but we have a lot of students come to cleanups. We post all of that on some of those volunteer hubs, and USM students are all over it. And so cleanups and arts program we did at Duncan Lake downtown, which is a really cool natural area. We had a lot of USM students come to that. So that's our role, is trying to connect and get more people engaged in that work. And so we've been kind of building out that network and that group, and now getting more into it.
We just went to Wiggins for a rehearsal for our choir thing, and there is something down there. Pardon. Sorry, my bad. It's some kind of nature thing that I was looking at it, because they offered like animal encounter things, but they also had like kayaking and something. But it was like, I think it was like $90 per person.
Okay.
To go do that. And you brought that up, and I was like, I'm scared of water, but
Yeah.
I'll learn. Do y'all have people that work to help teach people how to use the kayaks, or is it more of like a
yeah? So we can do one of two different ways. So and I'll say this. So a lot of people go to the Okatoma, and the Okatoma is all part of the same watershed. So the Okatoma actually dumps into Bowie Creek, and it becomes Bowie River. In between Highway 49 and Peps Point Road, and that's kind of the stretch of the Blueways. We call it the Upper Bowie. That's kind of the stretch that we do the most because it's about 6 miles, so it's not a super long paddle. It's really scenic. It's beautiful. Lots of sandstone ledges. You're jumping off. You've got a little bit of moving water. So the Okatoma is pretty intense. That's like the state's waterfall rapid area. Okay. So you're gonna, like, if you get on the Okatoma, you're gonna flip. Mm-hmm. You're gonna lose your stuff. I still love it because it's a lot of fun and we like to do it. But the Bowie and the Leaf, and the reason I love them so much is because they're super chill. They don't move fast like the Okatoma. You're not going through a bunch of rapids. So we have a lot of families that want to come out, and maybe 2 adults are in a canoe, and we got 1 or 2 kids sitting in a seat. And there's not a whole lot of obstacles you have to worry about. Okay. So it really can be a super leisurely float, and it's very family friendly. We had a pretty bad experience on the Okatoma when my kids were 3, and so we love that about the Bowie. So you have your adventure on the Okatoma if you want it, but if you want to just paddle and kind of explore nature, but have kind of a chill float and have more time to talk with your friends and family, the Bowie and the Leaf is where it's at. And we offer both guided or solo paddles, and we do it for, groups of people. I mean, right now we can probably outfit 20 just between our fleet and personal boats. So we've taken some big groups out. So just reach out to us if you got a group. If USM, if Southern Miss Radio wants to go on a paddle, we'd love to take you guys
let's
out.
go on a group to whoever can hear me in there. Let's go. And sometimes they can, and it's really funny because I'm seeing them spin around. But we're going on a group trip to go kayaking, guys.
Let's do it.
If no one respond to me if you want to go on a group kayaking thing. I hate water. I hate being wet, but actually flipping over a bunch of times does sound fun as long as I know what I'm doing. I've been in one before on the shore of a beach where was the worst spot ever because the waves kept flipping me over, and I was like, I want to go home. Let me out.
Yeah, you got stuck in it.
Yeah, I got flipped upside down and I got stuck, and I was like, this is not fun. What environmental issues specifically over here in Hattiesburg do you notice affect the Blueways?
Yeah, so, I mean, one big thing we kind of talked about is trash, litter. So we're kind of an urban environment. Hattiesburg's not a huge city, but we are very urban. We've replaced a lot of grass and green space with concrete. So with that, we've got stormwater runoff. So as it rains, we got to have somewhere for that to go. 80% of the litter that's in the world's oceans is said to come from inland sources. So it's not coming from beach towns and beaches. It's coming from cities like Hattiesburg. Mm-hmm. So if you've ever been around Gordon's Creek, which is a cool drainage, it's a drainage ditch. It's our stormwater runoff, but it's a natural creek. It's been around here since before Hattiesburg was founded. Runs right through the middle of town. If you go check out Gordon's Creek during a rain, you're going to see tons of trash flowing through that creek. So the way the watershed works is we're part of the Pascagoula River system. The Pascagoula watershed is the largest undammed water system in the continental United States. So if you look at the Pascagoula, the Leaf, the Bowie, the Black Creek, Red Creek, Wolf River, the Chickasahee, the Chunky, all of those rivers flow and form the Pascagoula. For the most part, they're unimpeded. They haven't been touched by human, built a reservoir, built a dam to build a community or a resort. So the biological diversity in Pascagoula is it's uncomparable. It's compared to the 7 natural wonders of the world, okay? So all of the trash that comes from Hattiesburg and other communities like us, it flows through Gordon's Creek, it ends up in the Leaf or the Bowie, flows down to the Pascagoula, ends up in the Mississippi Sound and down into the Gulf of Mexico. So we take that really seriously, and we hate it. So litter is one thing that impacts our blueways. Nobody wants to get out on the water and see a bunch of trash. So we've got to do a better job of making sure we dispose of litter the right way. And then if it's on the landscape, we get it off as soon as possible so it doesn't end up in our river system. Another thing, and we're working on that, and I can tell you about some opportunities to get involved in that. Another thing is water quality. So for recreational access, you want to make sure that the water you're getting into is clean. And when we say clean, we mean bacteria. You're not, there's not a bunch of E. coli or other coliforms is a science word. I have a marketing degree, but I've learned a lot of things through citizen science, which is really fun. So bacteria that'll kind of make you sick. So there's a path to test that, and we're building out even a bigger program to do that, doing bacteriological monitoring. So checking the water to make sure that it's safe through sampling methods, and that can be done by volunteers. I've been doing it for several years. And then chemistry monitoring to make sure that the aquatic wildlife that call that place home or have good conditions to be in. So there's all kinds of things that can impact pollution and paint spills and bleach in the water and any household stuff, pesticides that you're spraying in your yard. It all goes somewhere. So it's all getting to a creek. So that chemical is a big deal. And then when we pick up trash, we try to recycle as much as we can. We want to put as little into the landfill as possible. So we pull out, all the plastic bottles, all the aluminum cans, cardboard paper, clean stuff. The one thing that we don't have an easy path for is glass bottles. And we find a lot of glass bottles at cleanups. So we're really excited. You're like the first, maybe the second public person we've told. We've got some cool stuff coming out, but we're launching a glass bottle recycling program in the next month where we take glass bottles, we run them through a glass crusher, and we convert those bottles into sand. And you can use that sand for anything you can use sand for. In Louisiana, Glass Half Full, who's become a close friend of ours recently, is using that for marsh restoration. So they're restoring all the marshes in Louisiana. And Fran Troutman, who founded that company, is going to be in Hattiesburg in April. And so we're looking forward to kind of launching that event with her.
Okay, awesome. And you've spoken a lot about conservation. That's what the whole thing's about. But how did you personally get into conservation?
Yeah, it was, I've been outdoors. I'm a geocacher. I like treasure hunts, So I've always been, I'm a Boy Scout. I'm an Eagle Scout. I've been backpacking since I was young. I love being outdoors in nature. That first paddle on the Blueways, the first paddle on the Leaf River in 2018, is the first time I've ever done it. And I've been in Hattiesburg and didn't know I could do this. And I had a kayak. I've been kayaking all over the place. Didn't know about the leaf and the buoy. So the first time I went, the trash on the river really got me. And then I just started thinking about water quality and the impact that we're having on that water. But I'm a banker. I have a marketing degree. I'm not a biologist. I don't have an environmental science background. So I found some citizen science opportunities through Pearl River Keeper, Mississippi Water Stewards, and I got trained to be a water quality monitor. So I'm the guy that's going out there weekly and taking samples of the water and growing that bacteria. And really that has just snowballed into all of these things, all the information I read, the books I read, what I'll follow on Instagram. It's all conservation and restoration. I feel like right now, as fast as we're developing, population's growing, we've got to get closer and closer to protecting the environment. So really that first paddle in the Blueways is really what sunk me down this rabbit hole that has kind of gotten into all of this. So,
That's awesome.
it's been fun. Yeah.
I wish I did not have the schedule to go, I'm going to go do this. And then I'm like, I'm too tired. I don't have the time. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Is there, do y'all have an Instagram or anything, social media that you would like to speak out and hopefully people know how to type?
Yeah, we've got, Visit Hattiesburg helped with all of our branding and our logo design and helped us build a website when we first got started, and we're revamping that now, but pinebeltblueways.com is our website. You can sign up for our newsletter there, and we send out occasional newsletters. We've got one coming up in the next couple of weeks because we have a ton of events that are coming out in kind of March and April, like around Earth Day and Earth Week, April 22nd. So you can sign up for our newsletter there, and that's kind of probably the best way to be in the loop with how the algorithm works on social media. But Pinebelt Blueways is on Instagram and on Facebook. Piney Woods Conservation Group is on Facebook, and all of that social media, all of our marketing, all of our branding and design now is all done by a USM grad, Bridget Prater Smith, blended by Bridget. She's a graphic design student here at USM and an artist, and she manages all that for us and does a really good job. So check us out there and look at us on social media. But we're installing litter collection devices. We work with a Littership Pinebelt group to do that. So we're installing these booms in the creek. They're going to catch that litter before it gets into the river.
Mm-hmm.
So we need ongoing volunteers to clean that out and audit it. We're working with USM's Mississippi Polymer Institute. We're gonna analyze some of that plastic with the community to kind of make sure what it is and if it's recyclable. And then we're launching or expanding that water monitoring program. Mississippi Water Stewards is what it's called. So on Friday, April 11th, we're going to have a training to train people to be able to do bacteriological and chemistry monitoring. So I hope there'll be some students at USM and others in the community that want to do that, to go out and help us test the water and test the water quality so we can tell people it's safe and we want you in it. And then Earth Week, we've got a bunch of activities planned for April 22nd. We do a cleanup with Southern Prohibition downtown. That'll be on the Leaf and Bowie River this year, probably at Glendale Avenue. So we'll have dates coming out on that. So check us out on social media, follow that newsletter, and we got a lot going on in the next month.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to go look at that actually after we get out of this. Be sure to go check out Pinebelt Blueways and the other conservation things that he mentioned that I cannot name off the top of my head. I deeply apologize. But you can go back and listen. It's not that hard. Pull up the transcript. Thank you so much for coming and talking to everyone today about the nature conservation. This is actually probably, I think, this is the third in a row awareness thing that we've done, because we did a nonviolence and then we did basically like artist awareness kind of thing, where this guy came in and talked about small artists submitting their artwork to get awareness for all different kinds of artists regardless of their background, which this is a great streak to be on, actually.
Well, I got some brochures and some stickers for y'all. I'll leave those for you guys in here.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. Coming up, we've got Morgan Gill reporting on midwifery laws.
For Cassidy Sager, giving birth at home wasn't just a choice. It was life-changing.
It's sad to me because I think there's a lot of mamas who would like to have just a birth experience that was more holistic, more natural-minded, but the options are not there.
Mississippi is one of just 12 states that does not require midwives to be licensed. That means anyone can claim the title without formal training, oversight, or medical standards. House Bill 927 aimed to change that, outlining a licensing system and allowing midwives to carry life-saving medications. But for the third year in a row, the bill failed in the Senate. Midwife and bill supporter Amanda Smith says more needs to be done to support maternal care in Mississippi, where half the state is considered a maternity care desert, with no OBs and no hospital offering labor and delivery.
Mississippi truly is facing a maternal and infant health crisis, where more moms and babies die in Mississippi than in any other state in our country. So midwifery care could be part of the solution for that.
I'm Morgan Gill, reporting for the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center.
Thank you for listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. We're thankful for Carl Wilson, our audio engineer, and Gabby Collier, our film producer, for keeping this bird soaring. We especially want to thank our program director, Adeline Fields, our audio producer, Cadence Renfro, our booker, Austin Flores, and our general manager, Dr. Martin, as well as Shawn Harris, our lovely guest today. That's all for today on Southern Miss Radio. Thank you for listening, and remember, fly, eagle, fly.